One of the best ways to stay in flow is to stay in balance, right? Today, we're talking about the balance sheet, your personal balance sheet, and how to stay in flow with Allison Rife Martin, CPA. Let's get into it. This episode is brought to you by Rife Martin, CPA, where they help you get your money right. What's going on, Allison?
Well, we're starting to get to the height of summer where it's very sunny and very hot down here in Texas. And I'm sitting here thinking about vacation. What's the big picture? What's my goal? How do I know? Do I have enough to do what it is I'd like to do with my summer besides just, sit at home and complain about how hot it is?
Right, right. Wh-
That anybody's just
wh-
going to
Which,
say
which,
it's hot. So,
yeah. It's getting there. Which brings us to right the balance sheet, right? The balance sheet, which helps maybe once the balance sheet's big enough, then we can go to different places in the summertime where it's not as hot.
exactly. Or there's a beach involved.
And there's a beach involved in water. So let's get into it from a um, businesses use their balance sheet to measure their health. Um, but and this is not a knock. It's not a judgment. I find as individuals, um, maybe there's not as much of a maintaining of a personal balance sheet, right? You know, tend to know what's in your checking account, but outside of that, um, reviewing the balance sheet is not as not done much by individuals, even individuals who own businesses, right? So like, what exactly is a personal balance sheet, and why is tracking it just as important as tracking a monthly budget?
Well, so your balance sheet is comprised of what do you own, what do you owe, and what's the residual. So what's your net investment in all your stuff? And so the balance sheet, what do you own would include your checking account, your savings account, your car, all the clothes, all the household furnishings, your home, and then your investments. Like if you do, so, and then what do you owe? Your mortgage, your car loan. I don't even know what else could you owe money on?
Student
Credit cards.
loans, credit
Yeah.
cards.
Oh, yeah. Student loans. Yeah. The big ones everyone's talking about. And then what do you have left over? And, like we've talked before, a lot of business owners don't look at the balance sheet, but it's important to know because if you need to fund something, do you have the what money to do it? So, first off, you should check it regularly, and it's even just something fun to create where you can just say, how much cash do I have? What's my house worth? What's my mortgage? Boom, I'm done. It doesn't even require a lot of effort. But sometimes you look at it and you're like, wow, I am kicking butt. I mean, that kind of goes to the big picture too. Like a beautiful picture is, wow, I have all this and I wasn't even paying attention. But now it gives you a chance to sit back and think, I am all that and a bag of chips. This is awesome. I have, but you can't know where to start or to sit and do that if you don't know what you have. So it's important to put it together.
I, I,
Long
I,
story short.
I like that you're saying that because I like that you said that because that's I thought obviously when I say I thought it was just me, I obviously know I'm not the only one that does that. But you look at your balance sheet and you go, man, I actually do have some assets, right? Maybe I want more, obviously, but right, I'm not doing terrible, you know,
Yeah, exactly.
and
Or, oh my gosh, my car loan is upside down. What do I need to do? Like I just had to invest I bought the car for $1,000 and my loan, based on all the repairs and all, it's actually worth $500. What can I change? That's
hmm
the other thing it can tell you. Or do you want the picture to change? Like if you look at it and you're like, this does not look like a good picture. What do I need to do to change it? And then you can go back to your budget and say, okay, what do I need to adjust so that I can have a beautiful picture?
nice. When someone sits down with their first personal balance sheet, what are the key components they need to organize? Like what count, what doesn't, And I want to make it like in a way where they're not overwhelmed, right? I think somebody wants to sit down and they want to put one together, but they're like, I don't want to, don't overwhelm me. Like, what's the simple way to
Yeah,
do it?
I was gonna say don't turn this into a make work exercise because you won't keep up with it if it's like this is painful. So basically, your buckets are what are my bank accounts and my and money market accounts and my investment accounts. So let's pretend here, cash $100, investments $200, my home $500. That's it. That's all you do. Write that down on a sheet of paper. And you can really just write this down on a sheet of paper. Loans. What I got my mortgage statement. Oh, it says I still owe $400. Great. My car loan says I owe $50. Sum all those up and that's your balance sheet. And again, it is really that simple.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes if you can use like a personal accounting software, you can do that too, and they can generate the report for you. It just depends on how much work you want to put into this. And it really can be that simple as what's the balance on, what's my bank statement say? Write it down. There you go.
Mm-hmm. And then if somebody owns a business, and I can give my opinion, but I want to know your opinion first. Somebody owns a business, like how do you recommend they put the business value on their balance sheet, right? So you did the investments, cash. You said, I think you said home if you didn't home, but
Mhm.
like how should they record a business on a balance sheet?
So your business on the balance sheet is effectively your equity investment. So you would go to your business balance sheet and look at the effectively to make it easy, look at the equity section of your balance sheet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's your investment.
And
Like
that's
what
go ahead.
that's the residual of assets less the liabilities. So what's the leftover?
Got it. And you would count that as your value.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
For just again, quick and simple. I mean, it just really depends on how detailed do you want to be with it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Simple is better.
Yeah.
Simple is better.
And then you can set up a spreadsheet or, some kind of tracking device, however you want that's not overwhelming. You can just write it down, look at it and then keep track of it every month, like maybe once a month. And then you're like, wow, I'm kicking butt. But I'd like to kick more butt. So what do I need to do? Then you go back to your budget and adjust accordingly.
I like it. I like it. Um, I specifically like the keeping your business recording simple because I feel like a lot of business owners have a healthy
Healthy
pride in the
balance.
value of their business, and it
Yeah,
may it may affect their retirement planning because they think they might be able to sell it for more than what the market wants. So if you keep it honest like that, it says, all right, I'm gonna have to save some money, right, or build the equity in my business,
mhm.
so that way I have something actual tangible, and then anything over and above that I get
It's
is
gravy.
gravy.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just again, I think this would be the easiest way. I just think this would be easy. Again, piece of paper, keep track and do it. But again, be disciplined about it. So then again, you're not disappointed when all of a sudden something happens. You're like, wait a minute, I'm not prepared.
Yeah, yeah. Every week, that's part of my weekly. The weekly is every week I look at that too, and it takes less than an hour, like way less than an hour. I book an hour, but it takes way less than an hour.
And don't you just feel better knowing that your expect what you get what you expect, and what you're expecting is continual improvement, and you're getting it because you're paying attention. And this gives you the freedom to go on some fancy vacation or, you know, be more prepared when your kids go off to college. You'll know you've got the funds set aside.
Look, you just said some magic. I like to look at words, and like paying attention is one of like the most underappreciated uses of the mind. You know what I mean? Like meaning like the mind is so powerful, but the mind can only bring you information relative to like what you give your attention to. You know, and so when you say pay attention, right? I'm like, it just we can't overlook the fact that if we just if all we do is just pay attention to our money, right? Like I think the how do you say it? I think the trap sometimes is to think that we have to know when we look at something, and the key is just if we just pay attention, and but maybe like I do yoga and meditation every morning, right? And I definitely don't look at my money if I'm stressed. So if I did my yoga and meditation, and then something stressed me out before I look at the money, I go do it again before I look at the money, right? Because the key is I don't need to have any answers. I just need to be calm and pay attention, and then that's gonna feed my mind.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And then, just think your family isn't so stressed out because you're not stressed out about it either because you
yeah,
know,
I know.
and it spills into all other areas of your life because you already know you don't have to worry.
I love it. Let everybody know how they can reach you if they want a peaceful balance sheet and budget building process. Like they
Exactly.
walk into your office and you have the candles lit with the sage burning.
I was gonna say I can smell the sage burning now, and then they've got a little bell I can ring every so often to emit positive energy. So oh my gosh. So you can reach me at my website, rifemartincpa.com, or you can email me at info@rifemartinaccounting.com. And I'd love to talk about this stuff. It'd be fun.
Thanks for sharing.
Philip Washington Jr. is a registered investment advisor. Information presented is for educational purposes only and does not intend to make an offer or solicitation for the sale or purchase of any specific securities, investments, or investment strategies. Investments involve risk and, unless otherwise stated, are not guaranteed. Be sure to first consult with a qualified financial advisor and/or tax professional before implementing any strategy discussed herein. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.